Hi, I'm Lexi Largett. I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the Georgetown Project's Bridges to Growth program, and I'm also a longtime homeschooling mom. I have 3 kids, and we're on our 16th year of homeschooling, and so I thought since everybody now is suddenly doing school at home, it might be helpful to share some tips with you. So since every family is different, and what works for my family might not work for some other families, I have called on some friends to share their tips. So I hope that you'll find things that will help you, but I wanted to say, just go easy on yourself. This is unusual, difficult for the kids and for you, and I know that you're juggling a lot of things at home, people who are working from home, kids who are stressed out, parents who are stressed out. So be gentle with yourself. This is not easy. I will say that even my own homeschooling family, this is not how we normally school, and it's tough for us too. So hang in there, and I hope that you gain some tips that you find helpful.
Hi, my name's Nicole, and I'm a mom to a 21-year-old and a 16-year-old. And we've been homeschooling since about 2003. And we just wanted to, there's no one in the room. It's just me. And I just wanted to share with you 3 things that I feel like has really helped our family be successful in the years of schooling at home. First one is going to seem a little contrite, but just hang with me, and it's patience with yourself. This is a new era, a new way of doing things, and a new relationship you're having with your child. Have patience with yourself and everyone else in the house. Second is time batching. If I was told I had to do an hour of math, 2 hours of reading, and other subjects lined up behind that throughout the day, I would feel really intimidated. So a little trick I like to use is taking the age of the child minus 2 would give me the amount of minutes that they can really sit down and be doing sustained work before they need to get up and move. So for example, if I have a 10-year-old, subtract 2, I have 8 minutes. 8 minutes worth of math that we're going to do before we get up and move. What does movement look like? Getting a glass of water, doing some art, climbing a tree, doing some yoga, silly dance, whatever, as long as it's different than what you were doing. So throughout the day, I am going to get 8 minutes. I'm going to get an hour's worth of math done, but in a nice 8-minute segment without pulling teeth. The third and final thing is really important, and that's praise. When our work is validated, we want to show up and we want to work harder. We're self-motivated, and that's what you need right now, is a child who wants to actually try something and do something with you. So praise them. But I would caution what type of praise you're using. If you're always saying everything is wonderful and good, the kid starts to wonder, like, what actually is wonderful and good? So give them a foundation of merit that they can measure themselves, and be specific with your praise. Like, for example, I see you're struggling with this, but I'm so proud that you keep showing up each day and trying it. Or, hey, look at you. You can cover paint on all 4 sides of the canvas. Best of luck out there.
Hey, I am Kate. I am a mom of 4 kids. We have been homeschooling for 18 years. We started homeschooling in an RV, then we moved into an apartment, and then into a house, into a bigger house, and back into an apartment. Today we're going to talk a little bit about where and how to study. There's a good chance that you have now been schooling at home for somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks, or maybe even 5 weeks. And so hopefully I'm going to give you some tips that will help you make your life a little bit more manageable during this time of chaos. So with that said, I want you to think about 5 things: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So first of all, who? Who all needs to be using your space? So is it just an elementary school student, or do you have a toddler, an elementary school student, a high school student, and a parent or an adult at home who has to work from home? All of these are going to play a factor in how you use space to do your schooling at home. So you've got who, and next you need to know is what. So are they just doing schoolwork? Do they have Zoom classes or Zoom meetings, or are they doing work? You need to figure out your where, and we're going to talk a lot about the where, but think about what areas you have available to you. So you might have a living room, you might have a kitchen table, you might be fortunate enough to have an office or a space that can be set up as a classroom. You might even have a desk in a bedroom. So all of these are going to be places that whoever you're working with might be able to do some of their schoolwork. The next thing to think about when you're starting to think about all the spaces, all the people who need all of the spaces, think about when. So what kind of time? So in some settings, some schools have specific Zoom schedules specifically for their students. So those students have to be on the computer at a specific time. So that may need to be in a place that's got maybe a background that is maybe not the bathroom, may not be a door. You may not want it to be the kitchen with all of the dirty dishes. So you're going to need to understand meetings and class schedules and even sleep schedules. Do you have some kids that now their sleep schedules are a little off, so they're staying up later? Others who are rise and shine and I want to exercise and go, go, go. Who wants breakfast when? And so with all of that, you need to take that into consideration, because some kid making breakfast while another kid is studying might be really, really distracting. So kind of getting an idea what your household schedule is going to kind of look like. And how. Everyone is going to have their different how. So we're going to talk a little bit about how, as far as making sure that you understand that it's okay for your how or for your children's hows to be different for every subject, and maybe even every subject every day, depending on how nice it is outside. So you can be doing it outside on a beautiful day, maybe on your porch. Sometimes you might find that a chair is more comfortable. So reading can look very differently for every kid. Sometimes you might have an animal who's going to want to be a part of the experience as well. Yep. Sometimes they need a flat surface and they need to be near you because it might be a subject that they may need some help with. Other kids might be able to find that they are able to stay focused better if they're sitting at a desk, perhaps in an office or in an area where they can close the door. Just because you're doing school at home doesn't mean that your school at home has to look like school. Make sure that you are able to accommodate your family in your space on your schedule. Everybody is a little stressed. You are now with your kids 24/7 and you have to take care of 3 meals a day. And hopefully you'll understand that it's okay if your kid decides they want to read their book on the floor. Ask yourself which fights are worth having. Does it really matter if they're reading their book on the floor? Does it matter if they're reading their book on a couch versus reading their book at the kitchen table? If you're going to need to be there to help them, make sure that it's also going to work in your schedule. If there is a second adult in their life or a third adult who helps them with a specific subject, there may be subjects that have to be done in the evening or when that adult is available. Have a wonderful day. I realize that a lot's going on, and hopefully this is a little bit to help you.
Hello, my name is Chandra, and I was asked to share some of my favorite advice to homeschooling parents. I know a lot of you are probably homeschooling newly, against your will, under duress, in a crisis situation. So my first piece of advice is to be kind and patient with yourself. And if you're able to do that, you can extend that to your children as well. The other thing that I want to emphasize is that this idea or piece of advice that I'm going to share is not completely my own. It's something that I have heavily borrowed and adapted from one of my very favorite homeschooling gurus. Her name is Julie Bogart. She is the creator of the Brave Writer curriculum. She is on Instagram. She's on Facebook. She has a podcast. She has a website. She has a blog. I highly recommend that you look her up and follow her in whatever medium works for you. Again, her name is Julie Bogart. So the thing that she said once or twice or however many times that really, really stuck with me was how important it is to value your connection and your relationship with your child above literally everything else. And that means above completing assignments, that means above academic achievement, that means above your own ego and above your own fears. I think that it's very easy as parents to fall into a trap of parenting out of fear. We are tasked with this huge job of raising this little human being into a fully formed, competent, successful, happy, healthy adult. And then you add in the task of educating them, and it can just feel completely overwhelming. What if we botch it? What then? And we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, if I let him do this or get away with this, he's going to be an adult that, doesn't ever follow through with things or does XYZ. It's going to be terrible. And so we catastrophize and we think, if we mess this up, they're going to be completely screwed up. But I would suggest to you that you flip that script a little bit or shift your thinking a little bit and think to yourself, what if I knew everything was going to turn out okay? What if I knew for a fact that this child was going to be a happy, healthy, competent, successful adult? How would that change my parenting? How would that change how I interact with this child? And I think that it would free you up to extend a little bit more kindness, a little bit more grace, a little bit more patience to your child. And I think that you would be able to focus more on the child that's in front of you and what they need from you in that moment versus the adult that you fear that they might become. So that's my main piece of advice. Like I said, be kind and patient with yourself first and foremost. And then I think that you can extend that to your children. And I wish you all best of luck.
Hi, so I have 3 students. 2 of them are at ACC as high school dual credit students, and I have one 6th grader who's at Murkison Middle School in AISD. And so every morning we've been having a 9 o'clock morning agenda meeting. That's what I call it. The kids are responsible for getting themselves up and down to the table without me waking them up. And then I have a spreadsheet for each of them where I just go through, we talk about what did they do yesterday, and I, mark if it was done or not done. And then it's an opportunity to see if they need any help with anything. They turn in work that maybe I need to help edit, and I get it back to them. And then it's an opportunity to check in with my 6th grader in particular to see if she's keeping up with her AISD work, if she needs to contact any teachers, what's planned for her day. And then we also talk about, what is planned for the whole family. Are there any things that we need to do as a family? And then right after that, we have a chore time, and we rotate through household chores and yard work. And that takes generally about 30 minutes. For my own personal schedule, I schedule 2 hours for that so that we're not feeling anxious about it. But generally to do, we all clean the bathrooms one day, and it takes about 30 minutes to do all of that. And then all of those household chores aren't just resting on my shoulders, so I can continue to do my own work. But the morning meeting, it allows particularly my 6th grader to learn how to be autonomous on her own schedule, and my high schoolers too, because they need to be doing that. They're already used to that, but it also isn't letting them go completely free, where they can go days and days without me realizing that maybe they haven't been communicating with their teacher or something like that. So hope that helps.